Hi everyone, this is a new angle. So welcome to a different kind of video. I am Caspian and I read a lot of books. I mainly read library books, but I do want to know what books I have unread on my shelves. So that's what this video is about, because I need to go through my books, my shelves, and see how many unread books I have, and I want to put each of the title on like a small piece of paper to put in a jar eventually, so that I have like a jar with my own TBR to pick from each month. And I was gonna do this anyway, and I was like, sure, I can film this, right? So you're gonna follow me on a quest through my shelves, and this is the first shelf I have behind me. And on these shelves there are no unread books, but I'm gonna show you these books because these are or have been favorites of mine through the years. And I think I would probably unhaul some of these in the future, but not in this video. So yeah, this is another angle. So yeah, there's a candle. So you can see here we have a lot of Jenny Colgan books. They're all in Swedish. These are her series. What are they about? I'm gonna put down the candle. See, we're gonna pick one random without making them all fall. Which one can we pick? Can we pick one? No, we can't. They're gonna fall if I pick a book. But these are, so this is like The Little Bookshop on the Docks. An Eternity from You, I think, A Distant Shore, Summer on the Little Island in the Sea. So these are cozy books that I read in the summertime. Yeah. And I'm gonna put this back up here. And on this shelf we have some more Jenny Colgan book here, and Lucy Dillon. So these are what we in Swedish call feel-good books. And then here we have a Swedish book by a Swedish author about the witch trials in the northern of Sweden during the 1600s. This is a book that is based on a true event in a place where I have actually... I used to own a cottage, right? For a couple of years I owned a cottage that was previously owned by my mother. And that book that I will just show you is set in the area where my cottage were. So I had like just a few minutes drive to each of the places that are mentioned in the book. So I have visited them all. I have visited the dungeon, the church, the execution place on top of a mountain. I've been there. I've paid my respects and that sort of thing. So this is a book that I will probably read again. But if I don't, it's one of those books I have like for memory and to just help me remember and keep reminding me of where we have been historically, because witch trials were happening all over Europe and not only the US like a lot of people might think. Here is one of my favorite books. It's called Nike, or like the goddess by a Swedish author, and it's a dystopian novel about how the future could look. It's about almost 200 pages or something, and it was like 10 years since I read it, so I have to read it again. I want to read it again, but I think I'm gonna put it on a separate list with rereads and not read for the first time, you know. And on the shelf here you can see Lucinda Riley, a lot of Lucinda Riley, and this is the whole Seven Sisters series. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we also have Murder at Fleet House stuck in there between. So yeah, this is a shelf with a lot of my favorite books, or these are shelves with a lot of my favorite, and then there's a lot of knickknacks on here as well. So we're gonna be moving to the next shelf in a moment. I'm just gonna stop. You won't notice, but I'm gonna stop and write that down on a list of books I want to reread. So yeah. So this is my next set of shelves. And don't mind the dust. I know it's dusty, so please don't mind the dust. So we're gonna start at the top shelf. There are just a few books there and a few books here. Okay, so here are a set of books by Sue Harrison. It's a trilogy about a young girl. I think it's in Alaska or something. I don't remember. I just love. They are seal hunters and whale hunters and etc. So this is a type of historical novel, historical fiction that I love. So those are, favorites, and I'm not planning on rereading them very soon because it wasn't that long ago. And then here I have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a Swedish edition, and The Dice Player, I think it is called. So the original title of this book is The Dice Man by Luke Reinhardt. And this is a book that I was gifted a copy of a long time ago by a friend that really loved it, and I loved it as well. I don't think I loved it as much as he did, but enough to read it, and then I lost it, and I recently found it again. So I do want to reread that one, so I'm gonna put that on my list of rereads, I think. And then over here we have some non-fiction. Lucky Man by Michael J. Fox, Jordad by David Jonstad, Sorted by Jackson Bird, and Breeding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And Jordad is a Swedish book about moving outside, living off grid. The author did that for 5 years, and it's a very interesting book. It also takes up a lot of history in Sweden and the northern of Europe during the last few hundred years. So I have read that one. I'm in the middle of that one, and I have read that one. So I'm gonna have to put that on my TBR list because I started it but didn't finish. So down here we have my TBR from the library. So these are not going on any list. So I don't know what the series is called in English. It's The Clan of the K-Bear, right? So I do want to reread these. So I think I'm gonna put just the whole series on one piece of paper, and then I'm gonna have to put it back in the reread pile every time, as long as there are books left in the series or something. And so these books are books that I had on my TBR before, books that I own that I haven't gotten to yet. So these are definitely going on my reading list. So I'm gonna fill that out on a pieces of paper before we go to the next shelf. Okay, so here we have 2 shelves that are mine, and on the bottom shelf, on both of these shelves we have a mix of, mostly from there to there, and then all the way here there are non-fiction books, and then there are a few favorites up here. So we're gonna zoom in on those first. So here, at the end those are non-fiction. So these are some favorites of mine. This is a series of 9 books by Swedish authors. There are a few authors together that have adopted the name Saga Borg. I think there are 2, 3, maybe 4 authors that work together with these books. And this is a series with Nordic gods and goddesses, but it's retellings of the stories about them, and they are somewhat normal people. Some of them have a bit of magic in them in this story, but I do want to reread those. That's definitely going on my reread list. And then all of the other books on these shelves are non-fiction, and I do have plans for them. So a lot of these I have read, and a lot of them are they are about dogs, because I'm a dog trainer and coach, so a lot of them are about dogs. Some of them are about herbs and herbal medicine. And there's one book about yoga, and there's some books up here about shamanism. and I do have plans for those, so they will definitely pop up in videos. This is the home shelf of my book, The Four Insights, that I'm currently reading with my book club on Fable. So, I do have plans for these books. Some of them I've read and I will keep, but I will probably not read them for a long time, so I'm not gonna go through all of these books. And then stuck in here are my only DVDs I have left. We don't have a DVD player anymore. This is the Back to the Future trilogy. So yeah, I'm gonna write down that series on my reread list. Okay, so these are my other shelves, and on these shelves are a mix of read books, unread books, and borrowed books from my dad. But mostly it's books I own, so there are no library books here, but there are some books from my dad. So we're gonna start from the top and work ourselves down. I think that will be the best thing. So here we have some books that I have bought because I loved them. I've read, not all of them, but I have read Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust. I'm waiting for the third book in the series. I have read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, and I want to own the other books by her as well. So the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I don't remember what they are called. I have yet to read the strawberry one. Let's just call it that. I've yet to read the strawberry one. And then here we have Once Upon a Time, the whole trilogy that I wanted to read, but I have to read Caraval before that, so I have not read these. So I can't put these on a list because I have to read Caraval first, right? So Alice I read and loved, and Sunbury Trials and Celestial Monsters I've read and loved. I want to reread those at some point, but it's not an emergency, it's not an emergency right now. My arm is getting tired a little bit, that I'm holding the camera up with my right arm, because yesterday I had my second workout since my surgery over 2 months ago, so I'm a bit sore. It was harder to hold up the phone that I'm using than I thought it was gonna be. So, but we're gonna go into the next shelf, and I'm gonna remove this. This is to remind myself to return the books to my dad. It's his bag for the books that are his. Here we have the Tales of Narnia in Swedish. These are all my dad's books, old books from like the 1950s or something. It's like the first edition type books. So I am borrowing those. He will get them back when he wants to get them back, because I for at the moment I'm borrowing them. I'm just. And then here we have a thick book. This is the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy that I borrowed from my dad. Look at how small the Hobbit are. This book is so small next to this chunker. So I've talked about this before in the Hobbit video, but I think I'm gonna return those to my dad, and then when I get to the trilogy, I'm gonna maybe borrow it again, or I will probably borrow it from him again when I get to that series, because I'm not gonna get into that now. And these are books I've read in Swedish, but they were good enough for me to keep, at least for now. I don't know about this one. This is the book I told you about that I read in April, Giftmakerskan, The Lost Apothecary. It might be an unhaul at some point. So these I've read. And we have Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. Avdelning 73 by Sofie Sarenbrant. I don't think this is available in English. Eld, snö och stjärnor by Helene Holmström. Fire, Snow and Stars. I don't think it's available either. I don't know. Innan snön faller, Before the Snow Falls by Helena Kubitschek-Boye. I read these these three and this one I read during my Sunweight calendar last year in December and November. This is Juli Rubinrött, so Christmas in Ruby Red by Amanda Hellberg. This is Frida Skybeck. She's a really popular Swedish author. She does both like feel-good books with a bit of romance, but also thrillers. This is a feel-good book called Bokcirkeln vid världens ände, the book club at the end of the world. This is the first book in the I should actually unhold this. This is by P.C. Cast. It's the first part. Yeah, it's the first book in the House of Night series. That's right. And I have on hold all of the other books, but maybe I will keep this for nostalgic reasons and to remind myself that I have read this, because at some point, this is what happens to me. At some point I get nostalgic and I'm like, oh, I remember that series about something like that. And then I go to the library and ask the people at the library and they're like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. And they pick it out and I'm like, oh yeah. And I have no recollection of what the book looked like, of the author or anything. And I just go like, oh yeah, this seems like it could be it. And then I start reading it again. And since I was disappointed by this series this time around, I don't want to make that same mistake again of starting it and then realizing, oh, I know this one. So I might keep it just to remind myself to not make that mistake. So here we have the 4 books of the Bridgerton series that I have read. So book 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that series. Yeah, and then behind my little tree of trinkets I have Huckleberry Finn and 6 Scorched Roses. I have read 6 Scorched Roses, but I have yet to read Huckleberry Finn in adult life. I think I read it back at school. I found this at like an antique shop, so this is going on my to read list, definitely. So I'm gonna fill that one out and I'm gonna go to the next shelf after that. So I found myself a chair for the last section, because this is my unread books. These are my unread books. One shelf with unread books, completely dedicated to unread books. So my system for right now is I read from here, and then when I've read them, I put them up here. And then when they are here, I decide if I want to keep them or unhold them. But I think in the future, I will have favorites up here, together with the Sunbearer Trials and those books. And then I will have books that I have read here, like now, before I unhold them or whatever I don't know. And then here, this is going to be my dedicated shelf to books I own but haven't read. And these are all, I think all of them, maybe there are some exceptions to the rule, but I think all of them are secondhand books. I know that the Lost Apothecary, and there's one book on here that's the same author, and it's not secondhand. I bought them on sale. But yeah, so I'm gonna sit here on this chair and I'm gonna show you all of these books. They're all in Swedish, just so you know. They're all in Swedish. But I'm gonna try and pull them out and see what their original titles are as well. So this is gonna take a while. Hopefully not that long. So let's get into this shelf. I'm gonna remove some of the trinkets on the shelf as well so that we can see it better. Okay, so I have found a way to put the camera up. It's a bit volatile. It's standing on top of my suitcase with wheels. And I started talking and realized that I had put it on pause. So I'm holding the first book. So I started from here, which is from A, and then the last letter of the Swedish alphabet is Ö. I don't think I have a book by an author with that letter, but I might. So I'm gonna go from A and then on to Ö. So this is a book by a Swedish author called John Ajvide Lindqvist. and he writes mainly thrillers. So the first book I read from him was a book called Hantering av odöda, or Handling the Undead, and it was about zombies, and it's like the only zombie book I've ever really enjoyed. And if someone gives me a book by this author that I haven't read, I'm excited to read it because I know it's gonna be a good read. It might not be a 5-star, I don't know, but it's gonna be a good read. This book is I bought it secondhand. It's from it's only got 2 years. It's from 2023. So he's got a long list of books that he's written, right? So this is called Skriften I vattnet, or The Writing in the Water. And let's see what it's about. Okay, so this book is about something called the Midsummer Massacre. So it's Midsummer Eve, and the table on the docks are are set with the nice china. All of the guests are international guests that works within the climate compensation, and they're here to party, midsummer party in the best Swedish way. So when they're doing that, a boat glides into the docks, and 2 masked men rise, and a half minute later everything is in shambles. This is a book about a massacre. That's so funny. Well, I look forward to it. I know I like his writing. And the next book is Jacobians Hus by Alla Al-Aswani. This is not a Swedish author, so let's see who wrote what this is about. So Alla Al-Aswani. I'm butchering that, isn't I? No. So the thing is, when I buy books in Swedish that is translated from another language that is in English, the original title is not in English. So the original title, let's see if I can show you this. There. See, it's not in English. So this is the author, if you want to search for it somewhere. So I'm gonna see what this is about. Okay, so this is literary fiction, I would say. So this book is about a house, Jacobian's house in the middle of Cairo, that once was the home of ministers and millionaires, and now it's a rental apartment complex with different kinds of people from all walks of life. And it says, like, in Jacobian's house, the tenants' fates are mixed with memories from another time and the pictures from today's Egypt, where religious extremism and political corruption is feeding each other, where juvenile enthusiasm is quickly turned into rage, and where old customs is mixed with the new time. So yeah, this is a literary fiction. Okay, so the next book is about a Swedish actor called Morgan Alling, and this is his autobiography. So this is an actor that was very popular among children when I was a child. He was often a part of and a host of different children's shows on TV. So that's why I bought it. I know he had a rough upbringing and a rough life, and I wanted to read more about that. And then I have Peter Pan and Wendy, a Swedish translation. Oh, there's a card in here as well. It's not from me or to me. From Hedvig. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Hedvig. I have no idea who that is. I bought this secondhand. It's probably being used as a bookmark. Maybe I will use it as well. So this is Peter Pan and Wendy by J.M. Barrie. And it's a Swedish edition from original title. It's messing with me. Original title Peter Pan and Wendy. from 1911 is the first edition, but this is from 1983. So this maybe should be by my nostalgic books, but I haven't read it as an adult, and I want to do that. Like with Huckleberry Finn, I want to read it as an adult and see where I am with it. So I'm gonna put that on my list. The next book is 3 books. There are 3 books. It's 3 books in a series of 4 books. And I bought these at a secondhand store, and they were like next to each other, and I was like, great. If I like the first one, then I can read the rest immediately. And they sounded like a cozy kind of mystery type of book. So the Swedish name, the author of these books are Mikael Bergstrand. I have no idea if they have been translated. So if anyone's intrigued by these, you have to look it up. So these books are set in India. So the first book is called Delhis vackraste händer, The Beautiful Hands of Delhi. And it's about the main character Göran Borg, and he has lost his job, and he's lured away on a charter trip to India, and there he meets a guy that calls himself Yogi, and they have these kind of adventures. But it's like, I think my prejudice is that this is gonna be like a Swedish the adventures of a Swedish middle-aged man that feels like he has nothing to lose because he's bored with his life, or that kind of thing. So it might not be something for me, but they might also be a bit fun. I think I've heard that these are supposed to like have a fun writing style and a bit of humor to them, so I'm hoping that that's the case. So the first book is The Beautiful Hands of Delhi, is the translation of the Swedish title. Next one is A Mist Over Darjeeling, and The Guru of Pomona Valley. Those are the 3 books that I have in this series. And the 4th one is, I can't really make out on this small picture what it's supposed to be called. So yeah, we'll see if I like this. I'm definitely gonna put the whole series on my list. I don't think that this series has a name. So I'm just gonna have to put the author's name on my list. So the next book is a Swedish author as well, Annette Bjergefelt. She might be Norwegian as well. Let's see. I'm not gonna make a fool of myself now. It's translated from Denmark, from Danish. So Danish author Annette Bjergefelt. Okay, great. So the Danish title. What is the Danish title, people? It says. Does it say? Yeah. Høysangen fra Palermovej. Høysangen. Yeah. Høysangen fra Palermovej. That's the Danish title. The Swedish title is Höga visan på Palermovägen. So, Danish is not my. I'm not Danish, and I can barely understand it, but I hope I didn't butcher that title. So that means it might be translated into other languages as well. So, this is a first? No. Okay, good. So, in this book, it says like this. This book is an enchanting tale where we follow 3 generations with visits to the Parisian opera world and the circus at the end of St. Petersburg. So it seems to be about a family of artists. Yeah, no, so this seems like a piece of literary fiction that I am gonna put on my list. And then we have the chunkiest book, I think, on my whole shelf. Wow, okay, so it's a lot of references in the back or something. 540 pages, Jane Eyre, a Swedish translation that I'm looking forward to reading. Oh my god, the writing is so small. The writing is so small. It's a good thing I don't have a problem with my eyesight, because it is so tiny. It is so tiny. So yeah, I'm gonna put this on my list, and I'm gonna be very well aware of the chunkiness and the small font of this book when I get to it. Okay, so this next book is called Molly Moon's, and it has an original title in English, Molly Moon's Hypnotic Time Travel Adventure. I think this is middle grade? I don't know. I don't think I knew that when I found it. I was just intrigued by something about it. Because in Sweden, adult books can also look this whimsical, so I don't think but it feels like, so it says like Molly Moon and the faithful Petula, which I think might be the dog, is in grave danger. And that was kind of my clue, that it might be middle grade. They're in grave danger. They have been kidnapped and brought back through time to the 1800s India by a power-crazy Maharaja that is obsessed of the thought of taking over the world. It's so intense. The only one that can stop him is Molly, and therefore he must prevent that she will ever find the fantastical book of hypnosis and learn the art of hypnoticism. The problem is that the Maharaja's helpers have a hard time finding the right time, and again they are mistaking of the time where Molly is. Soon 4 different Mollys are in the Maharaja palace, and it's only one of them that can save them and the world from extinction. I think I'm gonna have a fun time with it, and if I don't, I'm gonna be able to give this to someone that will love it. That's adorable. That really is adorable. So here's another book that doesn't have an English original title. It has a Brazilian original title, which I guess is Portuguese. So it's Paulo Coelho, and the Swedish title is Vid floden Piedra satte jag mig ned och grät. Let's see if I can pronounce the Brazilian title. Na margem do rio Piedra sentei e chorei. I have no idea if I did that correctly. But it seems to be quite similar to the Swedish one, so it should be like, by the river Piedra I sat down and cried. Something like that. So, a magical tale of 2 young lovers and their struggle to find love and the purpose of life. A poetic and thought-provoking romance novel or love novel that expands to become an unforgettable and timeless tale about the deepest mysteries of life. So yeah, literary fiction again. There's a lot of literary fiction on these shelves, on my secondhand bookshelf. So the next book is by Clive Cussler, and the original title for this is Lost City, and it's from around 2004. So let's see what it's about, shall we? An enzyme that could be used to prolong a human life has been found on several hundred meters down in the northern Atlantic, in an area that is called the Lost City. But why is everyone that tries to capture it murdered? Why is staff members disappearing from a Greek laboratory one by one? And what does this have to do with the body that has been found in a glacier in the Alps? Wow. Well, it sounds intriguing. I'm intrigued. Yeah, Lost City by Clive Cussler. And then we have The Marshman's Daughter, I think is the name of this one. And I did tell you about this in a secondhand book haul video. Yeah, The Marsh King's Daughter by Karen Dion. So I've told you about this already. So I'm not gonna linger on it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. And then there's another book from the same haul. Elena Ferrante. Elena Ferrante, I think it's called like My Wonderful Friend or Amazing Friend, I don't know. L'Amica Geniale in Italian. So the first book in the Napoleon Quartet, something like that. Next up we have Nikki French, Land of the Living. I think this is supposed to be a thriller. It's a detective novel. It says so on the front in Swedish. Kriminalroman, a detective novel. Everything is dark when Abby wakes up. She has no idea where she is. The only thing she feels is pain. She's tied to a wall and her hands and feet are tied to each other. In her mouth she has something pressed in a rag, and the panic is spreading when she can't get air. With enormous efforts, she's forcing her body to be calm. She breathes through her nose and counts the breath. In, out, in, out, in, out. And then there's a man. He has a short way of speaking. He gives her water to drink and food to eat, and he promises to keep her alive for a while. After that, he's gonna kill her, just like he has killed the other women he have held captive. So, okay. Nikki French is a pseudonym for the British author couple Sean French and Nikki Gerard that's made a success of their books all over the world with their breathtaking thrillers. So yeah, I know I have read Nikki French before and I love their books. The next book is by a Swedish author. It's another detective novel, and the author is Inger Frimansson. And I have read from her before, so I know I love or like the writing style. This one is called Mörkerspår, which is like dark traces or dark... It could be so many things. It could be dark traces, it can be dark footprints or tracks, something like that. Hilja Agnevik is in her 50s. She's unmarried and childless. She's working in a flower shop and lives together with her older tyrannic sister Carla, that is retired before her time. I don't know. By a coincidence, it's so hard to read when there's like writing behind. I don't like that. By a coincidence, he comes to contact with an old classmate, the now successful actress Jenny Ask. Hia admires and envies Jenny, but her admiration is exchanged towards hate when Jenny is nonchalant towards her and dismisses her contact attempts. Maybe Hia will get a chance to bite back when her brother, the real estate agent, gets the job to sell Jenny's... Okay, so this is like... The description of the house is very Swedish. Bromma Villa. It's like this. It's... in a part of Stockholm called Bromma, there are these houses that are very expensive and very, like, you know, a Bromma Villa is like a house that is a house that is non-attached and very big, and it costs millions of Swedish crowns. So you know it's like a rich man area in the Stockholm area. So it's such a Swedish way of writing, of describing this. So Hilja is Hilja goes with her brother on a showing of this house, and she's lingering. Okay, she's lingering in the house. What she later becomes an involuntary witness of will have dire consequences, more dire than she can imagine. this because someone is lurking in this ideal place, Bromma, lurking in dark paths and jogging tracks. So dark tracks. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put that on my list. So the next book is also a book from that I bought for my Sunweight calendar. It's by Kristen Hanna, and the original title is Winter Garden. And the Swedish title is The Frozen Garden. But The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. Den frusna trädgården. Winter Garden is a touching tale of two sisters that discovers that their mother is carrying secrets that they could have never imagined. So I'm gonna stop at there because I don't want to know too much. It sounds wonderful. It sounds intriguing, and it doesn't have anything to do with the single mom trope. So I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. Okay, so the next book is by Patricia Harmon. And the original title is, well, it said first published in the United States under the title The Midwife of Hope River. The midwife Patience Murphy has one life job: to guide mothers through the agonies of birth and helping children to the world. In the 1930s, West Virginia, poverty is widespread and the need of help is big. Patience takes the job that no one else wants, helps them that needs it the most, and that doesn't have the money to pay for it. But Patience is carrying a secret so horrible that she distances herself from anyone who wants to come close to her. It's an honest and gripping tale that pulsates of historical credibility, with the attitude that everyone is worth the same. Patience helps the what's the word in English? I don't know. The poor, but not really worse than that. She helps people in the dangerous mines and takes on the black girl Bitsy, a friendship that puts a thorn in the side, I think. In Swedish it says a friendship that sticks in the eyes, but I think the thorn in the side is more English. On the Ku Klux Klan. I think that is what drew me to it, that last bit, I think. Okay, the next one is a book by Kristen Harmel. And the original title is The Forest of Vanishing Stars. Yeah, The Forest of Vanishing Stars. By the author of the best-selling The Book of the Lost Names. Jonah is only 2 years old when she's kidnapped from her rich parents of Berlin. She is forced to grow up deep in the woods of Eastern Europe, and is taught everything about how to survive the harsh winters, building shelters and finding food. When her kidnapper later dies, Jonah is an adult woman and now she's all alone. Oh, it's gripping just by reading about it. At the same time, the Second World War has broken out, and Jonah meets a group of Jews that has fled out into the wars to escape the Nazis. Okay, oh my lord. So yeah, looking forward to this one with a bit of trepidation. So the next book I have also talked about in my recent second-hand book haul, and it's Across the Nightingale Floor, the first book in the Tale of the Otori, something like that. So I'm not gonna go into that one because I talked about it already, but I'm putting it on my list. Tale of the Clan Otori, that's it. By Leanne Hearn. And then I have 2 Emily Henry books. Swedish editions. Beach Read by Emily Henry. And then Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I have not read these yet, but I'm putting them on my list. So, and I'm attempting to read them in Swedish. I have read Happy Place and Funny Story in English. And yes, these ones were on second hand, because I think these are the kinds of books that people will buy for the summer vacation and then just abandon at their local second hand store when they are done with it and summer is over. Maybe they are like, oh, this was a nice read, and then so I managed to find them for 10 crowns each, which is about €1 each. So that's nice. So this is a book by Hisham Matar, and I think the original title is The Country of Men. In the Country of Men. It has a completely different title in Swedish, I would say. But okay. Tripoli, 1979. It's a very hot summer day. 9-year-old Suleiman is going to the market by the Martyr Square to shop together with his mother. His dad is away in business. Suddenly, Suleiman is looking at a man with wearing dark sunglasses on the other side of the square. Suleiman is sure that that's his father, but why isn't he waving? And this book is the tale of a terrifying, oh, what's the word in English? I think just a terrifying situation set through the eyes of a little boy. With brilliance and engagement, Hisham Matar takes us to Libya during the Gaddafi regime. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is one of my read around the world. I'm gonna look it up though. Maybe Hisham Matar lives in the US or something, born and raised. You never know. One thing you learn when you read a lot of books is that the name doesn't have anything to do with where the person is born. Their background could be something with it, but you know, even a lot of American people have like Swedish names and Norwegian names, but they have no connection to those countries or, you know, Scandinavia, except for like 5 generations back. So I'm gonna have to look it up, so I don't be like, oh, this is gonna fit my read around the world goal, and then nope. So, but I'm gonna put it on my list and see. Yeah. So the next book is a tiny, under 200 page book by Russell Hoban, Turtle Diary. This is so cute. I found this, when I found this I was like, this is adorable. Turtle Diary is a charming but like calm story about 3 people united in a decision to free the big fascinating sea turtles of London Zoo. Around this simple intrigue, the author with great human knowledge and warmth have written a pure and clear novel about the questions of life that is a part of everyone's business. Okay. It's adorable. Look at that turtle. Look at the turtle. Look at it. Turtle Diary. Next up is, I think, somewhat of a classic, Kite Runner. The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. So, I don't think I need to talk about this very much. I will when I read it though. So, it's set in Afghanistan, and it's about the inseparable friends Amir and Hassan and their upbringing. Yeah. And of course, the US has to interfere, you know. It's gonna be interesting. And then here are my 3 books that I own and haven't read in the Ladies Detective Agency series. So I talked about this one and this one in my latest secondhand haul video, my first secondhand haul video. So they're all, they're all about Precious Ramatswe and her detective agency in Africa, so Botswana. So nothing to tell there. They're all about like 200 pages, 250 pages each. So I don't think I need to talk too much about these. Alexander McCall Smith. Books from the beginning of the 21st century. And I only put the series as a whole. We're over here now. The series as a whole on my list. So the next book is by Tamara McKinley. And let's see how much the Swedish title corresponds with the original one. The original title is Morning Glory. Yeah, it's okay. It's somewhat the same. Morning Glory. Let's see. The young and successful couple Fleur and Greg lives an intense big city life in Brisbane. But after an argument, Greg leaves the home, and with that, their bright future isn't looking that bright anymore. As a gift from above, Fleur gets a letter with a surprising news. An unknown aunt has passed away and testamented a big property to her. Fleur is fleeing the Australian countryside and try to get used to her new life. When she in the diaries of the aunt, when she finds the diaries of her aunt, she finds the tale of a dramatic and colorful life. Okay, well, this intrigues me. I do like diary entries in the book. Are there diary entries in the book? Or there are diary entries in the book. Great, looking forward to it. And here's another book by Tamara McKinley, Echoes from Afar. This one's called. The young nurse Annabelle Blake has taken her escape to Paris after a bad rumor destroyed her possibilities of working in London. It's 1930, and in the city's artist society, I think that's the word, she meets Etienne and Henri. Those are the most French names I've ever heard. Etienne and Henri. I think those are the most French names I've ever heard. So she's swept away by their lifestyle, and it gets an abrupt ending when she goes out as a field nurse in the Spanish Civil War and meets a new terrifying reality. Okay. And then there's I think there's a couple of timelines in this or something. So, okay. It's not like I'm dying to read it, but I think if I'd read the other one first and I like the writing style, I could read this. So I think I'm not gonna put this one on this. I'm gonna put it on here if I like the other Tamara McKinley book. That's what I'm gonna do. So this next book is a bit weird because I think it's not Swedish, but it doesn't have an original title at all. It's called Vägen till Sugar Maple Inn by Louise Miller. It should be like The Road to Sugar Maple Inn. I'm gonna have to look that up because it's weird. It has everything else stated, but not the original title. So I have no idea what the original title is. But it says like this: Can a pastry chef from Boston with purple hair and a tattoo of a whisk on her butt find the happiness in the countryside of Vermont? So I think this is a cute story. It's gonna be like an easy, maybe beach read. I don't go to the beach that often, certainly not this year, but like a vacation read that I could take with me and just read a little. I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star read. I think it's gonna be a 3-star read, unless I really am engaged with the story and the main character. But I think I was intrigued by that purple hair and a tattoo of a whisker, but I think that's what intrigued me. Now there's only 5 books left. So I do have one book, I have a couple of books like in other places as well, but yeah, 5 books left. This is a book by Arto Pasilina. It's called The Thunder God's Son, or Åskgudens dotter. Nej, Åskgudens son. So let's see. I think this is a Finnish author. Yeah, it's a Finnish author. It's from 1984, and this is an author that was. I think we read him in school a lot, Arto Pasilina, and I think I dodged it for some reason. I like always picked another book, and then now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I want to try Arto Pasilina. Let's see what this is about. In a grey ancient time where the world is still lived by only Finnish people. What the world is still lived by only Finnish people. The Thunder God ruled together with other Finnish old gods and sacred spirits, protective spirits, over every living thing on earth. But time is changing. The Finnish people is no longer worshipping their old gods and have stopped sacrificing to them. One day the Thunder God decides that Finland must be reconquered by sending an appropriate god to the earth. The Finnish people will be convinced to re-embrace the old faith so that they will regain their power over the world. And he sends his son Rutja. This is called a warm, entertaining, and very humoristic tale. It's a tale, yeah. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I'm taking this one, and this is also Sarah Penner. This is my second book by Sarah Penner. This came out after The Lost Apothecary, the London Seance Society. Yeah, the London Seance Society. A spellbinding about truth, illusion, and revenge. And it's set in 1873. And I'm looking forward to reading it. I don't want to know that much about it before getting into it. I think the less I know, the better I will enjoy it. Because I was a little bit disappointed by The Lost Apothecary. Yeah. And the next book is... It has an English title. Okay, Death of a Red Heroine. Death of a Red Heroine by Q Chalong. I don't know. Q Chalong? The Death of a Red Heroine. A beautiful May day, a naked woman's body is found in one of Shanghai's canals. It is the corpse of Guan Hongying. She's an employee at the warehouse and one of the communist regime's national, like a great worker. The young criminal detective Chen Kao is by accident taking the case, and it shows itself to be harder than he could have ever imagined. Someone high up in the hierarchy obviously doesn't want the truth to come out. Okay, I'm losing my voice, so I'm gonna have to be short about this. And then I have Lucinda Riley, the love letter that I talked about in my most recent secondhand book haul. And then I have Sarah Waters. The author is Sarah Waters. And I think I was intrigued by the cover, the font on the cover. The weirdest things can intrigue me to buy secondhand books. And the original title is The the little stranger. The Little Stranger. Främlingen I huset. Just after the Second World War is ending, Dr. Faraday is called to Hundreds Hall to see a patient. He is met not only by a frightened maid and a family that has been through financial difficulty. There also seems to be something foreboding over this house and its residents. He's soon drawn into the family heir's life, both the current and the past. What is haunting the house? What is casting its dark shadow over Hundreds Hall? A bit of a mystery for me, yeah. So since it says Främling in huset, Främling in huset means the stranger in the house, so maybe it's a horror. Maybe it's a horror. So yeah, those are the last two books, and I want them to be like that and like that, so I can see them. And I do have a couple of books here that I'm just gonna go get. So there was only one actually, because I had the rest of my Bridgerton books over there, and here are a book that I found secondhand not that long ago. It's The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. So this is a thick book. This is a thick book. I think it's like 1,000 pages. 945 pages. The Mists of Avalon, the Swedish edition. So I don't actually know what this is about, but I've heard lovely things about it through the years. It's from 1983. A novel about violent lust, spellbinding and love during the Middle Ages, or like the night times, the time of nights. I think that's the Middle Ages, right? I can't translate this. This is too you know, sometimes when the blurb is too, they're like this, it's too short, and they just cram everything into it. It's just hard to translate because there's so many descriptive words. So if I were to translate it, I would have to pull those apart and make it very much longer. That's what this is. That's what this is, because we have a way in Sweden where we push words together and just add on adjectives, like you describing words onto the words, and this is way too complicated. So I hope that that's just the synopsis on the back and not the entire book, because if the entire book is like that, of course Swedish is my language, so it won't be that hard, but it will be heavy to read with all of those descriptive words smashed together. So we'll see. I will not judge the book by the synopsis. But yeah, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley is the last book on my list. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna end this video. So I have a whole bunch of books, of titles here that I'm gonna do something with. So there's only 3 titles, or like the first book of a series is also part of this, but there's 6 books on the Reread list. And then on the to be read list, we have 37 books on that list. So I have gone through a lot of books with you today. And this video I have been filming for an hour and a half, and I have paused, from time to time. So I have been here for longer. But I'm gonna do my best to edit this and see where it ends up. I have been at it for too long not to publish this. Just let's say that. It will be published. So I hope you have enjoyed this adventure through my shelves. So thank you for coming with me through this journey of my shelves today and helping me find all the books that I need to read. so that I can put them in some kind of jar or something. I'm gonna look up all the genres and other stuff on this book, of these books as well, put that info somewhere so that it would be easier for me to understand what the books I have picked have been in the future. So yeah, maybe find some statistics on how many books are what as well. That would be fun, I think, for me. So happy reading, everyone. And have you read any of these books that I have shown you today that I haven't read? Do you have any of are any of those your favorites, or do you have any questions for me? Put them in the comment section, and I will see you in my next video. Xingling!